Hello, welcome back to Garden Obsessed. My name is Carla. Today is January 8th, and that means that as of yesterday, we completed the first week of the Pantry Challenge. It is a challenge that's put on every year by Three Rivers Homestead. And already we're failing at rules that I made up. So we're not feeling too bad, but we'll get into that. So I didn't take video of everything that we made this week. I do have some pictures of some things. I'm not very great at making sure I capture everything. Hopefully this challenge will help me get better at that by week 4. Hopefully you're seeing most things that we're eating. So I do have a list, I have some notes, and I did keep track of everything that we ate every day, or at least me. Jarrett he works shift work, so he's 2 weeks nights, 2 weeks days. It's a little easier to line up our meals actually when he's working days, believe it or not, because when he works nights, he doesn't like to eat anything too heavy or too spicy. Like mostly he likes breakfast things when he's working nights. So some of his meals were different than mine, but they were all things that were prepared here. A lot of times he'll take leftovers if it's not something that, is spicy or heavy. But for the most part, what I'm gonna go over here is what we both eat. So I'll do the breakfast first. I find it easier, to maybe talk about rather than go like, January 1st, we ate this, this, and this. I think it's easier to just talk about breakfast. I'm someone that can eat the same thing over and over a lot of days in a row, and it doesn't really bother me. So I had scrambled eggs like half of the mornings this week. And a lot of times on the weekend, if we're home together, he was off last weekend. He works every other weekend. Then we like to do like bacon, eggs, and toast. So we had bacon, eggs, and toast one day. That was actually January 1st. One morning I didn't feel like eating breakfast, so I didn't. And the other 2 days for breakfast, we had a Tim Hortons gift card. If you're in the US, that would be, similar to like a Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts type of a, coffee breakfast type place. And we had breakfast sandwiches from there. There's only $5 left on the gift card, so one of us may get a breakfast sandwich this week, but that's pretty much it for that gift card. And that's it for the breakfasts. I think for some of the other meals, I did take pictures, and everyone knows what scrambled eggs look like, so I didn't bother taking pictures of those. But for some of the lunches and some of the dinners, if I do have photos, I'll make sure and throw those up there. And I did take one video, so I'll share that too. For lunches, on January 1st, we had leftover appetizers for lunch. So we had some crab rangoon and some buffalo chicken egg rolls. So that was tasty and nice to not have to make anything. I'm sure I've seen quite a few videos where January 1st, that's what people were eating. So I don't feel so bad. I was like, people are gonna judge us for eating appetizers at lunchtime, but I think everyone's on the same page, so I'm not so worried about that anymore. I had some turkey soup that my mom made on one day for lunch. We also had a salad and salmon croquettes. So they're just little frozen, basically mini fish cakes. And that was a nice, easy lunch to have. We made red beans and rice with pork. Jarrett had slow cooked a couple of pork tenderloins. I think it was New Year's Eve. And so we used some for that, and then I used some pork elsewhere that we'll get to. I had quesadillas for lunch, and I used some of the pork for that, and also included some cowboy candy, some frozen peppers that we had. What else? Some corn maybe. I can't remember exactly. And we had some sour cream in the fridge, so I had that for lunch one day that Jarrett was working. And I made 5 other quesadillas, which I do have video of and I will share, that used up the rest of the pork and some other things, and that he will be able to take for lunches, or, you know, whatever you want to call it when you're working back shift, right? He'll be able to take for meals while he's at work. So I didn't put cowboy candy in those. That was a little too spicy for him when he's working overnight, but you'll see what all went into those. All right, I'm making up some freezer quesadillas. We had some leftover pulled pork from a few days ago. This was what was left in the bottom of this bag. It's mostly peppers, it looks like, with some carrots and some asparagus. That was the rest of what we had in our minute rice box. It was exactly 1 cup. I still have some shredded cheese, and I have some of our wraps that we bought with our groceries. And these are going to be quesadillas ready to go in the freezer that Jarrett will be able to take for lunches and we can have as we need. I also might throw some black beans in there. We'll see what this pan looks like when I get that far. Alright, this is what it's looking like. I did use some beans. I used about half of the can. I'll figure out something else to do with those. And I think that should be enough for about 3. I might be able to get a 4th one. I am going to just cook these in a frying pan and then quarter them, and I will freeze them flat and then package them up so that Jarrett will be able to easily reheat those at work. Okay, I just finished frying them all up and cutting them. I have 1 more left to cut, but it won't fit on the pan. I'm gonna chuck this in the freezer to flash freeze, and then I will package them up in like 3 or 4 triangles, probably 4, for Jarrett to be able to heat up at his work. And I had I think there was only 1, there might be another one lurking in the bottom of a freezer somewhere, but I had corn chowder, which I like to make a big batch and freeze some, so that was the last one I think that was kicking around. I also had 1 chili left, so I had that for another lunchtime, but then I made another batch. And the recipe that I really like, we had half of a blue Hubbard squash in the fridge, so I used that. It's a squash, bean, and hamburger chili, and I really liked it. I used Rotel. I used 2 cans of Rotel Hot and 1 can of regular instead of 1 large can of diced tomatoes, and it was pretty spicy. So I think next time I would only use 1 can of hot, but you know, live and learn. I didn't know, and now I know. So so I froze a lot of it, and I think I ate it for at least 2 suppers as well. So I ate a lot of chili this week, but it was really good. So that's okay. Like I said, I can eat the same thing over and over. So for suppers, we had leftovers still on January 1st. I can't remember what Jarrett had, but I finished up some seafood chowder that we had from the day before. It's not seafood chowder that I made, but a local market makes it, and it's one of my favorite things. So I finished that up. One night my mom invited us over for tacos, so that was great because I didn't have to think about what to make for supper, and she took care of it, and they were delicious. We made meatballs one night. They were pre-made frozen meatballs. I think they were the ones from IKEA. They were just plain, they didn't have sauce or anything, and we just added our own sauces. I think we used different ones. I can't remember what they were. They were ones we had in the fridge, so that was good. And we made green curry one night, which was delicious. It's one of my favorite things. And I had given Jarrett an air fryer for Christmas. So finally around day 7 here, I decided to take that out of the box and give that a try. I mentioned in the last video that our stove is broken and I still haven't felt like dealing with it, so it's still broken. And there's a ton that you can do not in your oven, so I'm like, we have lots to eat that doesn't require an oven, so I'm not going there right now. But I did want to give that a try, so I broke that out. And last night for supper, I made chicken thighs in the air fryer, and it was, I think the air fryer is life-changing. I'm not gonna lie. I used it 2 times again today, which we'll talk about next week's update. But I'm loving it. And if you don't have one, I think you should seriously consider it. I resisted it for so long. I don't know why. I mean, it's only the 2nd day I've been using it, but I just think there's so many possibilities, and I'm super excited. And it's really good timing because there's a lot that you can do in it instead of your oven. Like biscuits. I made biscuits last night too in it. But anyway, so we had the chicken thighs done in the air fryer, and I'll go over our grocery shopping here in a second, but I had picked up mushrooms earlier this week, and I used about half of those to make like a cream mushroom sauce to put over the chicken thighs. And I also fried up like some skillet potatoes, which we have quite a few potatoes that I want to get used. So that was everything we ate this week. You know, in addition to like some of the snacky stuff that, you know, we've had laying around from Christmas. Like there was a pile of chocolate. There's a smaller pile now. I think we had popcorn one night, just little things like that that we had kicking around the house. We had hummus and crackers one night. But yeah, that was everything. So what did we buy in groceries? This is where we're failing a little bit because I forgot I have a dirty Diet Coke habit. This is probably the worst habit that I have. I know I'm not alone. There's a lot of us Diet Coke heads out there. And I kind of forgot to factor that cost into our weekly grocery budget. So we are over a little bit. I'll get to the total, but I'll go ahead and show you what we actually purchased this week. So, like I said, we got 1 pound of mushrooms. Those were $2.88. We happened to get, they were on sale. That's the cheapest I've seen mushrooms in quite some time. We picked up a 5-pack of avocado. I was hoping for some avocado toast, which is one of my favorite things. But they are green and rock hard, so it might be week 3 before we get to those. But the pack of 5 was $2.88, which is also a really good price on those. We were down to 1 egg as of January 1st. And like I said, we eat a lot of eggs. Like that's probably my go-to breakfast. I'll go through kicks where like I'll eat oatmeal every day for, 2 weeks, and then I'll go back to eggs. But eggs have been really expensive. Most eggs are a dozen are right around $4. So we found them on sale for $2.67 per dozen. So we picked up 3 dozen, and that should carry us through hopefully a couple weeks. Although this weekend is a kid weekend and we usually go through quite a few eggs, but we do have this whole week's budget. So anyway, we got 1 liter of cream. I like to have that in my coffee. This will last for multiple weeks though, so it was quite expensive. It was $5.19, which, that's like 20% of our weekly budget, but I need it. Everyone needs it for their own sanity. Everyone wants me to have my morning coffee. So that was a necessity. And tortillas were on sale. I was gonna get the smaller tortillas. There's 10 in a pack, but Jarrett convinced me he wanted the larger ones. So there's only 6 per pack, but they were buy one, get one. So we got 2 packs of 6 for $4.99. And the other thing, what put us over was the Diet Coke. So they were on sale 2 for $5 for 2 liters. So that's 4 liters, which won't last me nearly as long as it should. So that was $5 just for stupid pop, right? So that brought our total groceries for, the first week of the pantry challenge to $28.95. If I had not got the pop, we would have been sitting pretty at $23.95. But anyway, all in all, not too bad of a fail. You know, cream is not something we're gonna have to buy for a while. And avocados, eggs. So we are probably gonna need cheese this week, possibly maybe some bread. The kids really like to have toast. I don't have any bread, and I could make some bread and bake it at my mom's. I might do that because that would save a lot on our weekly grocery budget. And that was week 1 of the pantry challenge. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're having a good time with the pantry challenge yourself. Finding it actually quite inspiring and invigorating to try to come up with some different things that we can make than typical. There's some dips and things that I might try to make this week with, you know, some things that we have that we won't have for much longer. I'm trying to use up some spice packets and things that typically I wouldn't reach for, just little things like that. And already I notice a difference in the freezer and especially on the can shelf. But like I used 3 cans of Rotel, a can of beans, and I think more things came out of there. But you know, for a small space, that makes a huge difference, and I can see to the back now. So one of the things I can see is we have 2 cans of artichoke hearts. So I'm thinking like a spinach artichoke dip might be something maybe that we'll do this weekend with the kids, although that would involve buying chips. Anyway, we will see. We will see what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you please come back if you liked this video, and if you've liked some of my other videos, I hope you consider subscribing if you haven't already done so, and we will see you next time.